The U.S. Supreme Court is expected to rule shortly whether Donald Trump can appear on the ballot in the Colorado state primary. The Colorado vote is one of 16 being held on Tuesday to help decide the Republican and Democratic Party nominees for the presidency. Trump also faces a series of other trials that could affect his chances of a second White House term.
One former president, 4 criminal cases with a total of 91 charges. An unprecedented situation in American history. And depending on when these cases happen, a potential game changer in November's election. Let's look at the cases. Trump faces a federal election interference trial, a business fraud case in New York, a federal case about Trump's holding on to classified documents, and a state-level election interference case in Georgia. The federal election interference case is led by special counsel Jack Smith. It covers Trump's efforts to stay in office after he lost the 2020 election, including his encouraging a crowd to march on the Capitol building.
The attack on our nation's capital on January 6, 2021, was an unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy. As described in the indictment, it was fueled by lies.
But the U.S. Supreme Court agreed to hear Trump's case that, since he was president at the time, he is immune from prosecution. It's unclear when they'll deliver a judgment. The New York State Attorney General's case against Trump, 34 charges of filing false business records. That's based on payments he made, and allegedly misreported, to pornographic film actress Stormy Daniels before the 2016 election, allegedly to buy her silence about an affair. Trump has reacted, as in each of the cases, by attacking the prosecutors.
It comes out because a corrupt attorney general sued me for fraud, and then they found out they had no case. Because I have a corrupt attorney general that communicates with the DOJ in Washington to keep me nice and busy.
Then there's the federal case claiming that Trump took classified national security documents with him when he left the White House. That case is scheduled to begin on May 20th, but the judge has so far been sympathetic to the Trump legal team's efforts to delay the proceedings. Then there's the state election interference case with 13 charges based on actions Trump took to try to change the results in Georgia, a state he lost. The case has been thrown into turmoil, however, by revelations of an alleged romantic affair between the lead prosecutors. And Trump's legal team has moved to have them taken off the case. The trial could start in August. There are also separate efforts by legal scholars and activists to keep Trump off the ballot in various states based on his actions after the election, but the Supreme Court has been skeptical of those claims. The big question is whether Trump will be able to escape reckoning until after the election. If he wins when he becomes president, he could instruct his Justice Department to drop the federal cases. It would also be much harder for state prosecutors to convict him in office.
DW reporter William Glucroft has been following this story and joins us now. William, the U.S. Supreme Court could issue a ruling as early as today on Trump's eligibility to hold office. What can we expect?
Right, we just heard from that fantastic rap that Ralph gave us. There's just so many things coming at us right now, and the Trump defense team. We don't know for sure what's going to come out of the Supreme Court today. They've just made an announcement that there will be something coming out, but speculation is quite strong that it's going to deal with this Colorado ballot case. And we, of course, don't know how they're going to rule, but based on the initial proceedings and what court justices are on the record of saying, they seem pretty skeptical that Colorado can keep Trump off the ballot without any kind of conviction in the criminal courts, I should say. That would basically nullify not only Colorado, but any other efforts around the country, because the Supreme Court will almost surely speak for the entire country, which means, at least in that one particular way, Trump would be safe and would be able to remain on primary ballots and then going forward onto the general ballot in the general election going forward.
Now, a lower court has already ruled unanimously that Trump is not immune from prosecution. Why would the Supreme Court want to review that decision?
It's a great question because a lot of people are saying this is a done deal. Constitutional scholars, legal scholars across the board are almost all saying there's no way that a president has complete immunity because that would make a president a dictator or a king, which is exactly what the United States was founded to avoid. So no one's really saying that there's any case that Trump is making or his defense team is making that makes any sense under U.S. law or the United States Constitution. Nonetheless, this is a matter of national import. And it's a matter that's never really been dealt with in this way before. So there are, of course, naysayers of the Supreme Court that say it's a conservative bench. Several of the justices have been appointed by Donald Trump himself. They want to tip things in the favor of Donald Trump. But I think unless there's some evidence to that claim, the more likely scenario is that the Supreme Court wants to weigh in on what they see as a massive legal matter for the United States as a whole.
Now, Trump is on track to clinch the Republican Party's nomination as presidential candidate, but could he not end up being disqualified, William?
Of course he could. This is a race against time for both sides. Now, the defense team is doing their job, defending their client, taking every advantage they can to slow things down, to make things go in Donald Trump's favor, as they should. They are his lawyers, and he is facing crimes, and he is innocent until proven guilty. So they're doing their job. And the courts are doing their jobs as well by weighing the evidence, by making decisions that they feel are prudent. Now, of course, you have partisans on both sides who are saying it's in Trump's favor or it's against him, as you like. Nonetheless, if anyone is upset about the timeline here and how close this is coming to the election, it really is the U.S. Justice Department. Joe Biden's Justice Department could have pursued these cases, at least the ones at the federal level that they have jurisdiction over, much sooner after the 2020 election when they came into power with Joe Biden. So the fact that this is running up so close, running down the clock against the election, which has a number of legal and ethical implications, that really is on the U.S. Justice Department, not the Supreme Court, not the lower courts, and certainly not Trump's team, that is really just doing their job defending Donald Trump, their client.
William, thank you so much. Our reporter, William Glucroft.